Brilliant. So Charlotte, I know we can hear each other. Can you see my screen as well?
Yeah, I've got it, yeah.
So we're on the level 4, I had to check then, level 4 diploma in business and management, and we're doing communication skills. It's because I do so many different levels, I forget what levels they are. Never the course, just the level.
Yeah.
And we're actually looking at learning outcome 4 today. There's a document that I'm going to bring to your attention which we'll have a little look at, which will help you to do some auditing for yourself, which is this one here. So it's just like a personal skills audit where you tick things, if I remember correctly. So let's come out of there. Into the spec sheet here. So onto learning outcome 4, which is be able to present oral information effectively. So like I said, it's quite a short one. You'll be surprised at how you can do this one.
Yeah.
So 4.1 is to design an oral presentation for a specified audience. 4.2 is present complex information orally using technology. 4.3 is assess effectiveness of your own communication. And then 4D1 is adapt and use own oral communication for different specified audiences and purposes. So onto here, we're just going to go through some basic information and then we'll go on to the questions. So, do I even need to say this to you? What is an oral presentation? Can you tell me what an oral presentation is?
Like giving information verbally.
Yes, well done, yeah.
So, it's but it's a hard one to describe, isn't it?
Exactly. It's one of those that I know what it is. It's just you, and then you think it's too simplified, don't you? Like, just thinking about it, just talking. Like, yeah. Exactly. So yeah, for just an oral presentation, you might want to do it just physically talking and have nothing to aid you, or you might want to have a technological aid. The best way, like even now, we're doing an oral presentation, but we've got this aid here, we've got this PowerPoint. You might have a poster, a leaflet. Sometimes at work, you might want to go and show someone something. You'll speak to them, but you'll have that clipboard or that little note there to reiterate what you're doing. So it's always good to have a little bit of a backup for yourself as well. And then with this oral presentation, it's really good for you to lead like question and answer sessions and, really get everybody engaged and get them joining in within that discussion that you're doing. So oral presentation, we've gone through what that is. So you can actually use oral presentations. It's not just speaking, it's the way you convey yourself. So if you're standing up at the front of a meeting room, you're giving information and you know exactly what you're talking about. If you're hunched over or if you're twiddling your fingers or trying to pull a bit of loose skin off your nail, it shows that you're not really present, does it? So your body language is good. Again, using visuals. Your voice techniques. Now, this is your tone, your pace of delivery. I've been doing a lot of observations for teaching staff lately. Yeah. And within that, one thing that I've noticed, that you can be monologue, where you can just talk. You can be monotone, where it's just, yes, okay, this is fine. It's like there's no excitement there at all. Or you can use the right type of pace. You can use the right tone. So the speed at which you talk and the way you inflect, use inflection in your speech, it shows your excitement or your boredom, or, if you're really happy to be doing something, or if you're just sort of like, oh, I want it to be over now, can't it be finished? That type of thing. So that does make a big difference. And then obviously you link all of this together. You're doing everything concurrently. So what are your objectives of oral presentations? It's just to really give that information. Now, if I was in front of you in your office and I said, right, I'm going to teach everybody about safeguarding or data protection, and I come in and I just start talking about what I did on the weekend or start giving you stories, what happened in the snow, any of those things, something random. There's no point. I'll have wasted your time and mine. You won't have got the information. The whole point is to make sure that I'm emphasizing exactly what I want to do. Having a presentation in a way that is focused on what I want. Now, these presentations weren't made by me. They were made by one of our other tutors. But if you look, even on here, some of the key, you can see use of different colours. These things pop out to you, don't they?
Yeah.
What I've started doing is when I'm doing new presentations, I will emphasize certain keywords in a different colour. I don't even have to make them bold. I like doing them blue, dark blue, light blue, you know, all of those things.
Mm-hmm.
It's, you know, it's not so much in your face, but it's there. You know that this means something, this reason. So little tricks like this actually help draw the attention of the person that you're talking to that thing. You might want to use a video, you might want to use a picture. You know what they say, an image says 1,000 words. So anything sometimes that, you know, if I'm talking to you about the trip that I took in the countryside and I'm telling you all about my bike route, but then there's nothing there for you to, you know, have as a visual aid. But if I put a map there, or if I put a picture of a countryside lane there, you can sort of start visualizing what I did, what route I went down. So these are good tricks when you're doing a presentation.
Yeah.
Now, the reason I'm talking so much about presentations is because you are going to be creating a PowerPoint presentation for one of your tasks.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be task 2, which we'll discuss in detail next week.
Yeah.
But for this is 4.1, design an oral presentation for a specified audience. So you're going to create a PowerPoint presentation. You can use the bog standard Microsoft PowerPoint. That's fine. I always use those.
Mm-hmm.
Your target audience are your colleagues and your tutor, and you need to choose a topic that's related to your work. So you could talk about BIP, what the aims and future ventures are for it, or you can talk about a particular point in work. So you choose, to be honest, you're quite open on what you want to do. Just choose a topic. Now, if I wanted to do something recently, I think a few months ago, I was asked to make a PowerPoint presentation on something that I liked. So I made it on safeguarding.
Mm-hmm.
You could do it on health and safety, because if you've got a lot of hazardous waste, or you've got a lot of heavy lifting, so choose an area. There's nothing is wrong as long as it's related to your business.
That'd be something that does actually exist then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you were going to go and tell me about minced pies, that won't work. You know, or the best, I'd love to eat it, I wouldn't mind.
Yeah.
What the best type of Christmas decorations are or anything like that. But it needs to be business related.
But no, like in the business after that has happened.
I mean, it doesn't even have to be like what's physically going on in your work area. You could be something that you're interested in.
Okay.
Yeah. So, have you got an idea of what you would do?
No.
What are the duties? What's your duties within work that you're doing?
It's just mainly admin.
But do you have like an aspect of data protection, maybe?
Yeah.
Or maybe you could talk about the administrative role, how that is a link to all the different roles within the organisation, and what sort of importance it is. You know, that type of thing within there.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, really, it can, even if you want to do like it on safeguarding, making sure that you're looking after individuals that come in and out of your property, or health and safety is one for you as well, or even how to communicate, like communication skills, with how to communicate with others, verbally, orally, body language. You could do that as well.
Yeah.
So choose one area, something that you're comfortable with. Do about 7 to 8 slides.
Yeah.
And then within that, I want you, that's for 4.1 only. And within that, use pictures to support, do a nice, just think that you're going to be physically presenting it to someone. So you want it to have a nice background. These are a bit plain that we've got here.
Yeah. But
I'll show you an example of my safeguarding one that I did a while ago. It's there. So this is still plain. It's not that big. It's not that great. All I've done is had a slightly fancy background. I'm quite plain and boring when it comes to PowerPoint. I don't like distracting things. So I just go, obviously this is more educational focused. You don't need to put unit aim or any of these things on there. So I just go on, and then if you see simple, ask a question, because then you want to be engaging people, don't you? So you see I've popped in a couple of pictures here and there, and then just done a bit of information. You know, you can even do something on legislations or whatever. Do something that appeals to you. Put a table in, put a chart in. This one doesn't have that many pictures and things in it, but it just sometimes the background itself will work for you. But yeah, it probably once you get your information down, you won't take you long. And then don't overload your information either.
Okay.
Split it up. So you don't want so much into it that it's going to be so confusing for you to read through or for somebody else to keep up with. So yeah, is that okay? Do you have any questions on this?
No, good to know.
Brilliant. So 4.2. So 4.1 and 4D1, the distinction, are covered in the PowerPoint. So we'll come back to the PowerPoint in a bit. 4.2 is nice and simple. All your physical, so I'll read the question actually. Present complex information orally using technology. All we're going to do is you are going to create your PowerPoint, and that PowerPoint is going to support you. You're just going to deliver it. You're going to go through each slide. You're going to give us information. You're going to do a question. I might ask you questions, or you might ask me questions to get me engaged, but you're going to be delivering it, and that's it in a nutshell.
Okay.
So be comfortable with it. Make a few notes for yourself. The best thing is never to just read off a slide. Is make sure that it's on a topic that you've got enough knowledge on. So if I say, oh, okay, so what sort of health and safety features do you have at your work? What sort of issues do you see? Or, you know, then you would say, oh, okay, yeah, there's a lot of issues with heavy machinery, so we've got to make sure we're wearing hard hats. We've got the vests on, high visibility is there. We've got boots. If you're not wearing appropriate clothing, then you're not going to be able to enter the site or so on. You know, I feel quite proud of myself with that information. I'm not very knowledgeable on that. I was just imagining the bin collection people that come when how they're dressed then. So again, the issue with all of this is when you're giving a lot of complex information.
Yeah.
And I know this firsthand, it is so difficult to keep the attention. You lose track. It is so easy that I've tried my presentations. I've been making presentations since February independently. So I've had quite a few months where I've just been doing these, and I've done it where there's lots and lots of writing, and then I've done it where I've really broken it up with pictures. This for me is too much writing. I find that it's a bit, it's just too much to take in. You're thinking about, you know, if this hadn't been here, this little section here, I would have preferred that. For me, for a lot of other people, they like it. But don't put too much information in one place.
Yeah. Use
pictures, dates, you know, if you can link a video, that's perfectly fine. I do that a lot in my healthcare courses where, you know, I found a particular video on health inequalities and I was like, right, this is great. It actually says everything in a nutshell. And I'm just going to play this 3-minute video and they can listen to this. So yeah, all of these things, make sure you've got something there, not too much information, but you've got sporting charts, graphs, or even pictures or videos on. And then just some ways to present your information. So be concise, learn to embellish. You don't want to, if you're just reading off a slide, I can sit here and I can read that slide. You can sit here and read that slide as well. There'll be no point in me being here if I was to go through this word for word. There will be some point that you might need to go through facts and figures or dates word for word. That's okay. But make sure you back it up with an example or you give, you know, some sort of scenario. Or you ask someone, okay, we just talked about this legislation here. We've talked about equality and diversity. can you tell me a time when you had to deal with an issue that impacted equality and diversity? Then you can get them, make sure that they're paying attention with you.
Yeah.
Understand who you're talking to. Now, this is really important. Within communication, we all know that the way we talk to our family members, the way we talk to our bosses, our clients, our teachers, we talk to them differently. You're going to have a different level of familiarity. You adapt your language. So if you're talking to me, you might be, yeah, we're friendly with all this, but we've still got that teacher-student thing. So you're thinking, right, I'm going to make sure I've got a couple of jokes in there, or we're having a bit of fun, but I want to be on the point. Mm-hmm. With your boss, you might be more formal, but with your brother, you might be like, oh, sod off, I don't, go away, I don't want to talk. That type of stuff. Yeah. So know who you're talking to, because it really gets you down to point with how to communicate with them. With yourself and with a few of my other students who have got quite a lot of industry experience, it's so much easier for me to just say, oh yeah, you know what we're talking about. Can you tell me what this, skip a slide, go forward somewhere else. With some of the other ones, I have to do a little bit more embellishment. I've got to really get into the nitty-gritty. And then you might even end up teaching someone how to create a PowerPoint, or how to, use cut and paste on to copy information in or put an image in. So you adapt, don't you, depending on who you're talking to.
Yeah.
So within this, so and then just use examples, illustrate what you're talking about, have something there for you.
Mm-hmm.
So are you okay with the 4.2?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll go on to 4.3. And that is assess effectiveness of your own communication. Now we've got a document there. So on here, you're just going to go and fill that document out. All it is that first step is 4.1 is you're going to be doing a presentation. 4.2 is you're going to present the presentation. And then 4.3 is you're going to think back and you're going to say, oh, how did I do? What were my presentation skills like? What was my body language like? Some of it you'll probably have to make up, because when we're doing online delivery, you can't really assess what your body language was like or your facial, but
yeah.
So let me go on to here, see if that comes up, and there it is. Yep, so all you're doing is starring.
Okay.
So go in, download it, and then you're just going to star which one you want. Don't know why it's not letting me enable. That's strange. Yeah, it probably is not possible. I don't know. That's really strange. But anyway, yeah, you're just going to star what it is that you're doing. And that's it. So these are all for, that's why it's protected view. So these are for some students that have done this. All you do is, this is all you're going to do. Just one section. These are for different students that have done it. So someone said that their body language was average. The tone of voice and delivery of voice was good. Facial expressions was average, and the use of ICT was good. So you do this, copy and paste it into your work, and then just do a paragraph to support it and just summarize what you found on here.
Okay.
And then 4D1, so adapt and use own oral communication for different specified audiences. So on this, all you're doing is who you're talking to. You're talking to your tutor, or you're talking to your colleagues. So you're going to use, for me, you might not use that much industry jargon because I might not be as familiar with it. But for your colleagues, you would use more. Someone who's been working with you, that that they're familiar with a lot of specialized terms, you would use it more. Or you might use it with me, but then you'd explain exactly what it is. So adapt what you're doing and just communicate it depending on that. This, again, gets covered within your presentation. So you're not physically actually writing anything for this. Your PowerPoint presentation covers you for this.
Okay.
So when you actually put down images, when you're putting down charts or graphs, or if you put some jargon on and you've explained what it is, that will provide the answers for this. So you've got to make sure you give the right information. So again, apologize, I will read through this. So you're going to add the information that your readers need so that they can understand. Take out any information that your readers don't need. You don't need to fluff anything. All you've got to do is have the bare minimum on there, and you're going to physically embellish it verbally.
Yeah.
Change the level of information. So if I'm teaching a level 4 course now, I might go and do a level 2 course, but we might have the same type of content. But like I said, with you, I've got a good understanding of your competency, that you are able to, especially with the role that you're in, you're computer literate. But somebody else who might have come up or might be of a young age, they might not be as computer literate as yourself. So I might need to explain things in a different way. So make sure the information you give is appropriate to the person you're talking to. Add examples, no matter who it is, everybody likes an example. And make sure that your fonts, the sizing are uniform. So if you've got a title, that can be bigger, it can be a different color. You can have certain keywords in a different color, but if you've got, say, Arial in one place and Calibri in another and Times New Roman all in one slide, it gets really confusing.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you get text. This is a pet hate of mine, because you get it and it says that it's black, but it's not black. It's like a grayish color. So make sure that's done as well. It always happens to me when I'm doing mine. Especially when you use information off different sources, like a website or a PDF. It just messes things up. And then just organize the information. Start off in a logical manner. Tell us what you're going to be doing. So that, I think, actually physically, this is from my experience, physically writing down the information isn't an issue. It's the tweaking that you do afterwards, making sure all the fonts are fine, adjusting the spacing in between these. Because if you've got, this is a size 24, you don't want that space in the middle to be size 24, do you? If you put a return in the middle of it. Is there a better word for return? I can never think. It is called that, isn't it? When you press that to do a return in the middle.
To make, yeah.
Yeah, I tried. I even searched it the other day because I had to write it down, and I couldn't find anything better. But yeah, start off with a mini introduction. Tell us what you're talking about, because this is something that I tell my eldest as well. He's doing his GCSEs now, and he does computer design technology, I think, for one of his GCSEs. He showed me a presentation, and it was just jumped from his name. The title is doing straight into information. I said, I have no clue what you're talking about. You need to put even a couple of sentences. Once that was added in, it actually changed the whole, because you go in with a bit of knowledge, so you expect, I'm going to be learning about how to design a lamp, or I'm going in and I'm going to be learning about child protection today, all of those types of things.
Yeah.
Make sure your sentences aren't too long. Bullet points are good for slides. You know that we use a lot of bullet points because it breaks things up. And again, all of this, we've already said it. Add graphics. If you've researched anything online, reference it. Have a slide for references. Even if it's 1, 2, or 3 in, pop them in.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's it for here. Is there any questions you want to ask for here?
No. So if you use information from like one of your PowerPoints, just reference that.
You could. Yeah, you could technically go in and say, if we do Learning Outcome 1, which is an introduction, you could go in and use some of the information from all of these, actually. You could talk about what is communication. That could be it. And then you could go and say models of communication. You could choose 1 or 2. Put different pictures in. And then you could go on to the next PowerPoint, Learning Outcome 2, and go a bit more into detail. So you've told us what is communication. You've given us a couple of models. And then let's go to the top. And then you could tell us what sort of communication systems are used at your work. Do you use, and then you don't even need to keep it like formal organizational communication. You can just tell us that you work, you use a Dropbox, or that you use telephone and email. you're doing a lot of communication and you're filing a lot of things physically. You've got a lot of paperwork that comes in. So just those type of things. So yeah, you can come in, use this as a guide and just adapt. Choose what you like and keep out what you don't like.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, I'll turn this recording off.